A young man was driving his brand new car when suddenly he saw an old man standing by the side of the road. The old man was hitchhiking, so the young man pulled over to help him. But before he could even open the car door, the old man stopped him. He said, "Don't bother getting out. Just hand me your car keys." Confused but intrigued, the young man handed the old man his keys and asked what he wanted them for. The old man simply got into the car, locked it, rolled down the window, and said, "Let's take a ride." They drove past a shopping mall where the old man told the young man to turn left. At the mall, they parked the car and the old man insisted on paying for the young man's gas. Once they were done, the old man took the young man aside and gave him $50, saying it was for gas. But the young man refused to accept it because he didn't need it. The old man then told him to keep it anyway, adding that it was for being such a good and helpful person. However, this wasn't the end of it. As they continued driving, the old man told the young man to turn right this time. They ended up at a children's hospital. Before entering, the old man again told the young man to wait here while he went inside. The young man watched as the old man walked into the hospital and disappeared inside. After about half an hour, the old man came back looking happy. He explained that he had visited a child who was very sick and needed a new heart to live. And guess what? The doctors had found a matching donor heart for the boy, which meant he would get to go home soon. Overjoyed, the young man couldn't believe how lucky the boy was. They returned to the car and the old man said to the young man, "I have something to tell you." He revealed that he wasn't just any old man, but a magical fairy godfather. He explained that he had been observing the young man for some time and was impressed with his kindness and thoughtfulness. The old man added that he had been watching over the young man for many years, waiting for the right moment to reveal himself. He then told the young man that for being such a generous, kind, thoughtful, and most importantly, honest person, he would grant him 3 wishes. The young man was shocked and overwhelmed. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. But he knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So he took a deep breath and tried to think of the perfect wishes. The first thing he thought of was money. He had always struggled financially, and it would be nice to finally be able to buy all the things he had ever wanted. But then he thought about the sick boy in the hospital and realized that there were more important things in life than material possessions. So he decided to use his first wish for something else. He thought about all the pain and suffering in the world and how he could make a difference if he had the power to do so. In a flash of inspiration, he wished for all sickness and pain to be cured. He hoped that this would bring happiness and relief to people around the world. The fairy godfather was impressed by the young man's selfless wish and granted it immediately. As the wish was being fulfilled, the young man felt a surge of happiness and gratitude. He knew that he had made the right decision by not wishing for money or personal gain. But he also knew that there were still many problems in the world that needed to be solved. So as he thought about his second wish, he considered how he could use it to make a positive impact on society. He thought about poverty, inequality, and injustice and realized that these were issues that affected people every day. He wished for everyone in the world to have equal opportunities and access to basic necessities like food, water, and shelter. Again, the fairy godfather was impressed by the young man's compassion and granted his wish. As the second wish was being fulfilled, the young man felt an overwhelming sense of peace and contentment. He knew that he had done everything he could to make the world a better place. With only one wish left, the young man knew that he had to choose his words very carefully. He thought about all the things he could wish for, but nothing seemed important enough to use his last wish on. He didn't want to waste this opportunity, but he also didn't know what else to wish for. As he struggled to come up with an idea, he heard a voice inside his head that said, "Be careful what you wish for." At first he ignored it, thinking it was just his imagination. But the voice kept getting louder and more insistent until he finally decided to listen. He realized that sometimes our own desires can lead us down a path of selfishness and greed. He didn't want to make the same mistake. Instead, he wished for people to be more aware of the negative consequences of their actions and to encourage them to make positive changes in their lives. The fairy godfather was deeply moved by the young man's wisdom and maturity. He had used all three of his wishes to benefit others without any thought of personal gain. The fairy godfather knew that this young man was truly deserving of a reward. He told the young man that for being so selfless and compassionate, he would grant him one additional wish. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the young man didn't hesitate. This time, he wished for his old cart to be transformed into a beautiful sports car. The fairy godfather waved his magic wand, and in a flash, the old cart was replaced by a sleek, shiny sports car that looked like it had just driven off the assembly line. The young man couldn't believe his eyes. He had never driven such a luxurious car before. But as he looked at the fairy godfather, he noticed a hint of sadness in his eyes. The fairy godfather explained that although he had enjoyed watching over the young man and witnessing his acts of kindness, he was now ready to move on to other young men who also deserved his help. The young man understood that the fairy godfather's time was limited and that he had helped many other people over the years. He thanked the fairy godfather for everything he had done and promised to use his new car responsibly. The two men said their goodbyes and the young man got into his sports car and drove away. As he sped down the highway, he couldn't help but smile. He knew that he had made the right decision by not wishing for money or personal gain. Instead, he had used his wishes to help others and make the world a better place. He also knew that the true reward was not the sports car or the money, but the feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment that came from knowing he had done something truly special. From that day on, the young man lived his life with purpose and generosity. He used his wealth to help those in need and to make a positive impact on the world. He never forgot the lesson he had learned from the mysterious old man and the importance of using his blessings to help others. And so the story of the young man who had a magical encounter with an old man spread far and wide, inspiring others to be kind, thoughtful, and generous. People began to call him the young man with the golden heart, a testament to his selflessness and compassion. One day, while driving his sports car, the young man saw a group of children gathered around a broken-down bicycle. He stopped to help and soon discovered that one of the children was the same boy he had met at the hospital. The boy's new heart was working well, and he was full of energy and enthusiasm. He and his friends were so grateful for the young man's help. As the years went by, the young man continued to use his wealth and influence to make a difference in the world. He established charities, funded schools and hospitals, and helped countless people in need. He never forgot the lessons he had learned from the old man and the importance of paying it forward. And so the legend of the young man with the golden heart lived on, reminding people everywhere that even the smallest act of kindness can make a big difference in someone else's life.